Do you put stadiums down and try to put parking lots and they just don't work for the stadium? Nobody will park at the stadium or use parking to actually go to the stadium? I got a fix for that. How about when you do use parking lots, this happens to you where they only use half the parking lot? I got a fix for that too. The other thing I'm going to hit is a question from Mike Buttons. Yeah, we're going to call this Stadium Parking Part 2. Mike Buttons is I like to think of a friend. I've known him ever since I've been playing City Skylines. He turned me on to what happens at the back of an asset and a pathway. In short, stop being squirrels. He asked me the question, what would happen? And it's because of that vehicle right there. That guy that's confused, well, he was confused. In the last video, I had a couple of stray cars sitting over here. But you could tell that when they came during game day, a game day event, that they would only use half the parking lot, except for these two strays that were over here. Well, this stray ended up being here because once upon a time, this whole parking lot looked like these, right? And then I pushed this over so I could shove this in, and in doing so, vehicles got... Are you really that far low? I keep getting distracted here. So I ended up pushing this out and putting these two assets here. But they only used half of the asset. And as it goes with all assets that are at least, well, a 4 wide, or no, more than 4 deep, let's call it that, because this is the entrance right here. So this is, we'll call this deep. Any parking lot that's over 4 deep operates this way. This one's 6 deep, and it only fills half. Well, Mike asked, if I bulldoze this, where would the other cars, where would these vehicles go? Would they go here and fill up this parking lot? And the answer is, yeah, kinda. Like that. They did. Let me see if I can put this back. Nope, wrong asset. Oh, where are you? Forgive me as I go hunt this parking lot down. So as you can see, they ended up in the other parking lot. So I understand why you kind of got me to look at that, because that would tell me... Where's the arrow? The arrow's at the street? Okay. That's the entrance. That would tell me that these parking lots, all the spaces are working. Even though there's no zones underneath it, right? Well, that's the thing. Anything beyond 4, they're not going to want to use. But now that these guys have been pushed over here, well, as they... Oh, they're exiting? Well, now a lot of these people that were parked in this parking lot have no idea where their car is, because it isn't where they left it. So, it's not a good way to solve a problem, but by doing that, Mike, thank you very much for asking me to do this again. I've seen this behavior happen all the time. When I move parking lots around, yeah, it happens all the time. If a vehicle's got somewhere to park, it will use that spot, right? But this is no way to fill a parking lot, right? You understand? I don't want to keep bulldozing this. But it kind of, it just led me to believe, am I doing something wrong here? I mean, these pieces are good. Well, how do I go here? If this was any other large parking lot other than what this is, and what this is over here, let me show you. The reason I'm handling it this way is because I want you to know who makes this asset, because as far as I know, nobody else has a parking lot that will do what this will do. And I know that because I've been hunting down parking lots since 2015 when the game came out, because the game has no parking lots, and that fact is something to remember too as we go on with this video. So this is the parking lot I'm using. Now, the fact that they'll fill over there means nothing, because as time goes by, right, and the next game day approaches, well, they'll only fill this half of the parking lot again, right? And these vehicles, if they don't just simply despawn, I bet you... Sorry, despawned, okay. Because they have no idea how to get to the road from here. Because there's no zones. They're more than four away. Right, so these vehicles, if they don't despawn, they're going to stay there forever. It's not what I was trying to achieve. Now, I have mentioned that this asset, if I haven't, because of many takes, I don't know where I am now. If I haven't mentioned that this asset is completely different than any other asset of its kind. What I mean is beyond 4 deep, like the 4x6, so this is a 4x6 or 4x8. This one operates differently. Listen to this. If I was to put a street here, right, push these two over, like do the flip, put the road over here, and put these two assets over there, then this parking lot would have access to 2 streets. That would do nothing. Wouldn't change a thing on game day, wouldn't change a thing on how to use this. But this asset, there's rules that I have with parking lots, right? Like the back of the asset can't be too close to a roadway, because in this particular case, if there's a road back here and a vehicle can go from the road, sometimes it drives through the tree to join the street. So I put them in situations where they can't do that, right? This asset does the same thing if I flip it around. Like the entrance is over here right now. If I put a street over here and flip it around, they'll mainly use this side of the street, or they'll enter from here, but on game day, they'll enter from here. You want to see what that looks like? Here, let me just stop that. Is it this? I think it's this. Let's go with this. Now, because it's the same city, I'm allowed to do this. There's not without consequence, though. I can see the, yeah, it's going to start building up pretty quick. I can get away with it 2 times. What I'm saying is, don't do this. Always exit out to the desktop. There we go. All right. So now, let me show you. Let me put this on. This is the same parking lot flipped around. In the first episode, I said the one thing I learned is to use close proximity as your guide. Well, if that wasn't absolutely 100%, 180 degrees wrong. When it comes to this asset, you put the entrance over here, right? And they're using this parking lot from this side, you can see now. Same here. They enter from here. But I think it is game day. 1921, yep, game day. Let me speed this up. And you'll watch all the vehicles come in, and they will access this side. Some of them will actually go around and park on this, or on the far side, like you. What are you? Nope. I'm looking for one that's gonna... Nope. Yeah, look at that. We know the ones that are coming through this way. Well, they're going to the stadium, right? But if you flip it around, they'll use both sides. And on a good game, they'll use the whole stadium, or they'll fill a whole parking lot, or just about. Have you ever seen this kind of action at your stadiums? Where they will actually use the parking lot to park in, and they'll use the whole thing? Mike, thank you very much. If you didn't ask the question, I wouldn't have looked at this, scratched my head, and went and said, what if? Just to find out this happens. And I've tested this with other assets, and it doesn't work. It'll still be, actually, if you use it the wrong way, yeah, no, sometimes they just don't use it. But this asset, right? This asset works different. It's one of the best assets I've ever seen. Especially now that I know this. Now I'm going to go back to my cities, my main city, and fix the other stadium there. See, isn't that a nice full parking lot? I mean, it's empty on this side, but they are using it. They're still coming in, too. See, now that looks like, it looks like there's an event happening. Are we all full yet? We're pretty much to capacity. 650. I think the best I've seen is 690. I don't think I've ever seen a capacity over 700. And the entrance to the parking lots are backwards. And we have, well, you saw what happens when we do it the other way. Only half the parking lot gets used. This way, the whole parking lot gets used. And I kind of suspect the more assets, commercial assets I put out here, well, I mean, I'm not going to. Because it's residential, but you know what I mean? Oh, they're still piling in. My gosh. 680. Look at that. There's how many spots? Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That too. Oh, the other thing I did, that's a slow road at 30. It's a workshop asset from, actually, it's from Network Extensions. It's the 2-lane road that travels at 30. I could have used a dirt road, but yeah, that didn't look like it fit. And this is from Network Extensions as well. And this is traveling at 50. So I was trying to bolster the speed thing to see if I can get them more attracted to come here. And it almost looks like there's more here than here. Because of why? Because of the street? Because that's a 40. That's a 50. That's a 50. And that's a 50. Could that be making the difference between the two sides? Speed. Quickest route. That's why I went with this. It's amazing how they still pour out of here with their cars. Oh, this one's not a 2-lane or a 4-lane. Now. Oh, we'll watch this empty. And then I'll have one more surprise for you. We're going to take this configuration and we're going to break it. Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, that's the end of the cars. Works? Works that thing? Okay, so yeah, he's here. Okay, so we're pretty much empty here. Now, let me show you this parking lot on game day with nobody using the parking lot. And I want you to tell me what's the difference.